9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on 1st February. Catch the question flashed on your screen. SMS your answer to 56161. Win big. Budget Master Contest. Only on ET Now.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, you know that this is your show where you get all your stock-related queries answered by our experts. So do get ready for that. But before coming to that, let's have a quick look what the markets are up to. So Cheryl, today, finally, just a day prior to the budget 2023, the markets are having some respite and the broader markets picture could look quite healthy today at least.
Yes, good morning to you, Shrishti. And if 0.3% downtick for the markets are a respite, then definitely we are seeing some respite. But yes, the markets are still in that particular range. It is pretty volatile. We did start on the positive footing. 0.5% uptick is what the markets had registered at open. From there on, we've only drifted lower. Right now, we are marginally off the day's lowest point. Is the Nifty Bank that is actually moved to the positive territory. As of now, is trading flat with a positive bias. Let's take a note of which are the gainers in trade today. And Adani Enterprises is the top Nifty gainer today. Apart from that, you have BPCL, SBI, as well as Power Grid that are holding some fort. Along with that, add to that list even JSW Steel. But on the losing end, you have Tech Mahindra, that is actually the top Nifty loser in trade today. Remember, Tech Mahindra is also reacting to its quarterly earnings. You have Britannia, HDFC Life, Bajaj Finance as well that are seeing some sort of a downtick in today's trading session. So if you look at the way how the list of gainers and the losers have been panning out, it'll be easier to guess which is the top sectoral loser, and that is the Nifty IT Index. That's the one that's losing about 1.5% in today's trading session. Followed by that, you have FMCG and Pharma that are seeing downtick. So defensive are playing spoil sport in today's trading session. But on the flip side, you have PSU Bank Index that's back to its winning ways. You have PSU Banking Index that is seeing an uptick of about 2.9%. Remember that these counters were under immense pressure over the last few trading sessions as well. Your small cap index that's outperforming the benchmark very smartly. 1.9% uptick coming in for the broader markets. You also have mid cap index that's seeing good uptick. So yes, all in all, some respite, like Shrishti said. You have the benchmarks that are under pressure, but it's the broader markets that are leading the way and the gains in today's trading session. But let's talk more about where the markets are headed from here on. What should one expect given the fact that we are just a day away from the big union budget? Let's bring on board Kunal Bothra as well as Shahina Mukaddam, who are joining us on the show. Very good morning to you, Shahina, as well as Kunal. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And Kunal, I must say, welcome back on the show as well. We will talk more on that big long leave that you went on. But Shahina, coming first to you. Like Shrishti said, looks like some sort of a respite, but that's on the broader market end. But given the fact the way how the markets have been trading extremely volatile, we're coming to the end of the month of January. We are going to kickstart the month of February with the big bang union budget. In such a market scenario, what should retail investors do in order to make sure that their wealth is protected amidst this immense volatility?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of data points that are likely to be out in the next, I would say, couple of weeks. Of course, biggest being the budget that will hit us first. I think the expectation is likely that the budget will be positive for this, overall.
Actually, Shahina, we'll come back to you very shortly and we'll talk about what should retail investors do. But before that, Kunal, should I start with what the market setup is looking like? Or should I ask, how was your vacation?
Yeah, we'll start off with the markets. I think that's a much more easier question to answer. But I think on the markets front, in the last 4-5 days, yes, we've seen a heightened amount of volatility. Across the globe, there is no major sign of volatility which has happened. In fact, most of the global markets are trading into a range for themselves, US markets, European, as well as the Asian indices. So I'm probably of the view that this is more of India-specific volatility which has come by into into our markets. Now, in the morning I did a Chartbusters presentation on how the market breadth is at an extremely oversold or nearing an extremely oversold territory, where the mid caps, the small caps on the list of stocks from these indices have already gone to a corrective mode. So any further correction from here on from the mid caps and small caps, say with the tune of 5% broadly, I think should be taken as a very good opportunity to try and chip into these names. So my view is that possibly the Nifty may still go into a bit of a corrective phase or a bit of volatility, but then I think the mid caps and small caps could actually offer very good opportunity to try and invest at current levels.
Right, so that's the take coming in on the markets and where Kunal sees it headed from here on. Yes, as you can see on the side of your screen, you have President Murmu who's addressing the joint session of Parliament. Remember that the Parliament has kick-started that budget session from today itself. We will have the economic survey as well that will be tabled in the Parliament shortly at around noon or so. But for now, you have the President who's addressing a joint session of Parliament. We will just get to that shortly. But Shahina, coming to you, what's your take on the retail investors? What should they do in such a volatile environment? But before that, actually, Shahina, I've got the management of Century Ply who's joining us on the show. We have Keshav Bajanga, who's the executive director of Century Ply, who's joining us on the show on a very special occasion. We've kickstarted the budget session, Keshav, given the fact that you have the president who's addressing the joint session of Parliament. But there's a direct link between housing demand and plywood industry. Let me get to what is your industry actually expecting from the budget this time around. A major thrust is being expected on affordable and low-cost housing. So what's your view on that?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show. I would like to break it into three parts. Firstly, we need to give credit where credit is due. And in the last budget, there was a lot of impetus on infrastructure. And I think that has propelled the economy forward. I hope that continues. As far as the real estate sector is concerned, there are two things that I'd like to highlight. One, real estate as an asset class is being treated quite differently than equities. In real estate, if you have held on to an asset for 2 years plus, then you get long-term capital gains. And even those are taxed at 20% plus, which is very different from the equity markets. We're hoping that that changes. Secondly, the rebate on housing loan interest is currently at 2 lakh rupees from a tax purpose. We're hoping that that increases to 4 lakh and beyond. Lastly, like you said, affordable housing, there have been steps, but we are hoping that there's going to be a lot more fund put behind it. There's going to be a lot more provision in the budget towards the same.
Watch out for that, Keshav. Hi, a very good morning. This is Shrishti joining it. But amid the global uncertainty and the higher interest rate scenario, what are the expectations by the plywood industry, or rather the real estate ancillary industry, from the upcoming budget?
Good morning. So, from the plywood industry, I think that there are a couple of things that can be done, which would in a very meaningful way impact the industry as a whole. If you look at furniture, India has every ingredient to become one of the largest exporters of furniture in the world, but it requires a bit more impetus behind it. I don't think there's any PLI scheme that has been introduced for furniture, and considering the fact that it is a huge market globally where India could become a player of significance, I think if some sort of a scheme is brought about for the export of furniture, that would benefit all wood panel related products. So I think this is something that the government can look at. Secondly, agroforestry as a subject has not been taken up strongly enough. Agroforestry can lead to increase in the green cover of India. It can lead to employment of thousands of farmers. And of course, it can make raw material available for products such as meat, for products like paper. So I think if the government pushes something through for agroforestry, that could definitely help the industry in general.
Right. Keshav, coming back to the housing theme, and the positive housing theme actually may lead to an increase in the already fierce competition that we are seeing in the unorganized sector. How are you, being an organized sector player, tackling this sort of a competition, and is there any pricing pressure that you're witnessing?
So, I think competition is always good. It helps you become more efficient. But when you look at the unorganized sector, the sort of tax arbitrage, illegal tax arbitrage that they're undertaking, that puts a bit of a challenge on us. Having said that, after COVID, we have seen there's a steady movement from the unorganized to the organized. Consumers are becoming more brand conscious, and that is playing into all organized players, but us in particular as the market leader. Having said that, as the market leader, we do have pricing power. So I think we've been able to pass on all the raw material price increases to the market, perhaps better than the unorganized players. So I don't see any sort of an issue there going forward.
Okay, but Keshav, just wanted to know, any talks on resumption on the anti-dumping duty on MDF?
I think talks have begun, but it's a little too early to comment on the same. But definitely, as an industry, we are working towards the same.
Talk about the capex plans then, and what's the status on the capex plans for Century Ply? If you could provide some update on laminate, MDF, and the particle board projects that you'll have undertaken. Also, is it as per timelines? What is your projections going ahead?
So our first MDF capacity expansion in Hoshiarpur was slightly delayed, but I'm sure that we'll have commercial production within this quarter. So that is going to be a very positive sign. With regards to the expansion in the MDF capacity in the south, the greenfield unit coming up in Andhra Pradesh, that is very, very well as per timelines, and that will come into production in H2 of this year. And the laminate capacity addition that we're undertaking in the south, again, is as per timeline and will come up in H1 of this year. The following year.
Okay, we'll watch out for that. But with this, we'll let you go on that as well. Keshav, thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now and helping with your take on what is the demand from the real estate ancillary play from Budget 2023. And along with that, what are the factors that are playing for Century Plywood at this point in time. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break. But don't go anywhere. As we come right back, we'll be taking all your stock-related queries. So stay tuned.
The pandemic has seen a number of...
Be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do. We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do. We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do. We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, and let's bring on board our experts. We have Kunal Bothra as well as Shahina Mukaddam. And Shahina, I asked you the question right on top of the show. What should actually retail investors do to make sure that their wealth is protected, given the fact that we are in a volatile market situation? We are at the end of the month of January, and come February, you will have the big union budget. So how should one brace themselves for the volatility ahead and make sure their wealth is protected?
Well, yeah, as you have mentioned also, there are many headwinds actually that are going to impact the way the markets move. Having said that, I think India is in a relatively good position versus the other, say, G20 markets, where we are expected to do at least 5.6% growth in GDP going forward next year. So I would believe that the investors should continue investing, deploy their money in the equity markets, but do so cautiously because, you know, there's a lot of volatility. I think you should select good stocks, good managements with good business potential that you believe will do well in the long term, and deploy the money at corrections, because I believe this market is going to give us good corrections going forward, given the huge type of volatility that is there. So I don't think you should rush in, but keep your stock list ready and keep deploying money cautiously.
So much, Shaina, for that advice. So that's the advice coming in for all the retail investors. But let's move on and now connect with the management of IIFL Finance. This time around, the company has declared a decent set of numbers where the asset quality has improved. The core loan growth has seen an improvement on a YY basis. But going ahead, what is the expectation on the growth outlook? Let's understand more from the CFO of IIFL Finance, Mr. Kapilish Jain, joining us right now live onto the show. Hi, a very good morning to you. Firstly, onto the NII expansion. It's largely muted despite strong interest income growth. How quickly is your asset side going to get repriced as per you?
So if you see in detail, you realize that NII has expanded. We have been able to pass on the rate hikes which has happened in the last few quarters. And that has been passed on to both our home loan customers, to the mortgage finance customers, and some bit on the gold finance as well. And while we have been able to keep our cost of borrowing muted. So NII expansion has happened, and we don't see any further immediate need to expand it further as long as we manage our liabilities better.
Right. Hi, good morning. This is Cheryl also joining in the conversation. If you could tell me, how are you translating the whole of the liability side rates hike to the assets?
So, if you see our borrowing mix, you realize that we have been able to keep our borrowing at the same level to what it was maybe in last year, 9 months. And that has happened because we've been actively managing our liability. We have been able to exit our high cost borrowing. We have leveraged our equity and our performance to go towards lower spreads and lower cost of resources on the borrowing side. So with that regard, there have been a very, very marginal or close to zero kind of a rate increase for us on the borrowing side. In the coming quarters, there could still be some marginal hikes which can come in because of the way market will behave, whether it's on the bank's MCLR sides or on the repo side. And if need be, we will do some kind of a pass on to ensure that we are managing our NIM and remain us to where we are today on the NIM side.
Okay, Kapish, but now if you could just tell us what is the outlook on your loan growth going ahead, and specifically which segments are you growing in?
So if you look into a Q-on-Q number, our loan growth has been fairly decent. We have grown at around 25% at a CAGR level from this quarter to the last quarter, so last year same quarter, and this has come across the product segment where we operate. Home loans and gold loans have given us a 25% increase. Microfinance has been a muted segment. So microfinance being a muted segment last few quarters because of COVID and demon and others have started showing some pent-up demand. So that segment has given a marginally higher growth than the others. But going forward, we realize that across all the segments where we operate, there's enough and more opportunity available. But if you have to peg down in the order, there's enough and more growth opportunity coming from the housing segment. More because we see that there's a huge amount of untapped desire for housing loans and housing assets. There's huge amount of capital that we are holding because of the recent infusion of equity which came in, which gives us a capital adequacy which is close to 45-50%. Both two combining should give us a good growth opportunity in housing. So housing would be the first in the order, which will give us a growth engine and opportunity. Second would be the microfinance segment, which has been pepped up, but microfinance segment with a very controlled measurement on risk and risk parameters, we should be able to give a decent growth. And along with that, the third segment would be the gold loan segment.
Right, Mr. Jain. Let's talk about the recoveries. If you could tell us, how has the recovery been for your company? Also, what would your expected credit costs be on your incremental book going ahead?
So the recoveries have been fairly decent. If you our NPA numbers have been on a downfall trajectory. We have given a guidance indicatively that we'll maintain our NPA at a range of around 2% and our net NPA at a range around 1%. We have been maintaining those kinds of range. We are slowly and gradually reaching those numbers. As we reach those numbers, there will be some credit cost hit which is coming in this particular fiscal. But going forward, we should be keeping ourselves on a credit cost range of around 1.5 to 2%, more particularly if I talk about fiscal 24.
Okay, but Kapish, once again, coming back to your segmental growth outlook, you did highlight that the focus and the business is coming in the gold segment. So going forward, is your focus largely going to be on the home and gold loans?
Yeah, very clearly our focus would be in the four core products that we mentioned. 100% focusing on any growth coming only from retail, and retail would be driven by home. Home would be a mix of home loan and LAP, which is ancillary product along with home. And then there'll be the gold loan segment. We've expanded massively in our newer branches, which needs to be monetized and leveraged. And also there's an opportunity available in those segments in particular. The third would be the microfinance segment. And then the business loan segment, which is the MSME loan segment, is again where we have really cracked the technology solution part from a digital perspective. And these 3-4 products should give us our growth. And we don't see diversing into any other segment in the foreseeable future.
Right, Mr. Jain, we leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us on the show and all the best for the quarters going ahead. And that was the management of IIFL Finance. But on that note, we will slip into a break. But when we come back, as promised, we will be back with your queries. So viewers, thank you for staying tuned and keep staying tuned.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
Now, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong. We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
Now, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong. We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
Now, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
Welcome back to Buy Now, Sell Now, and let's get it straight to all your stock-related queries. And because of the crunch of time, viewers, just to note that we will be taking just one query per viewer, so please bear with us. And quickly kick-starting the query section, and Shahina, coming to you for the first one. Bharat has asked that he's holding shares of IDBI Bank at the price of 55 rupees. He wants the expert opinion on this particular counter for the next 6 to 12 months, and also he can average out this counter. Would you advise the same?
We can average if the stock dips, not immediately. Maybe if we can average around at 45, then it will be a decent move.
Kunal wants a short-term view on RHI Magnesita. Can he buy the stock for the short to medium term? 3 to 6 months is the view.
Yeah, I think at 775 is a good support. Currently the stock is at 800 levels. So I think keeping 750, 60 as a stop loss, you can look to buy RHIM.
Okay, Shahina, once again coming to you, Venkat Rao has been holding shares of LIC Housing Finance from 2015. He entered this counter at the levels of 430 at a huge loss right now. He wants to know the fundamental take on this one.
Well, yeah, it has been a stark underperformer if you've taken this huge long-term period. Even currently, I think, the upside is limited, but he can continue hold, keep a target of about 425 and keep a stop loss of close to about 380.
Satya wants to know about IndusInd Bank. Kunal, he's holding from the levels of 1,145 rupees per share. Should he average now or when? Also, he wants to know, should he look to exit 3 to 12 months is the view?
I think you can continue to hold on for IndusInd Bank. Yes, the stock has corrected like most of the other private sector banking names, but I believe that possibly when the markets get into a recovery phase and the bank nifty starts to get into recovery, then I think IndusInd Bank would be one of the primary stocks which can lead into a strong recovery. So I would suggest to hold on to the trade as of now.
Okay, Kunal, coming to you. Karthik is also welcoming you back onto the show, and he wants your view on HDFC Life's 600 call option for the February series. Any short-term targets on this one?
Thank you so much for that, Karthik. But on HDFC Life, I would still suggest an avoid now. And this is a strategy call. You should ideally not go for contra trades into these kind of market scenario. However lucrative the risk reward may appear to be, because then the possibility that these stocks may get into a corrective phase is much more higher. I would suggest that wait out for a phase where HDFC Life breaks past about the 600 barrier. That would be a time where you can look to buy at the money call option, which would be a 600 call option, but not at current zone.
We have this one from Manish, and this one's for you, Shahina. He is asking that given that there is budget tomorrow, some of the sectors have already seen some sort of an action like defense and PSU fertilizers. He wants to know, do you recommend entering any of these counters for short-term gain for a period of around 6 months or so?
Defense continues to remain a good sector. So, you can continue to add positions if you're already in defense. You can add some of the FMCG stocks, in my view, given the fact that some of the raw material costs are coming off. And I don't expect too much of changes in taxation in terms of excise, etc. in the current budget. So I think one can add on selectively in these counters.
Shahina, coming to you for the next one. Shiva has been holding shares of Tata Motors from a price of 385, currently at a profit, but he wants to know, will that be advisable to shift to IndusInd Bank right now from this money and keep it for the next 1 year?
No, I suggest he continues to hold Tata Motors. and he can keep a stop loss of close to about 375, which is a deep stop loss, and I believe the targets of about 470 over a 1-year period is doable. So to continue holding Tata Motors.
Right, this one is from Akash Mathur, and he wants an advice on Gokuldas Exports for a period of 1 to 2 years. Kunal, I'll take this from you. He is holding already some shares at a price of 374 rupees per share. He's saying, is this a good option to stay put with? Also, there's PDS in the same sector. So do you think that he should look at that instead?
I think you can look to just hold on to Gokuldas Exports. Again, it's not a stock which I track actively, but then just looking at the charts in the last 10-12 months of chart patterns, the stock has gone through a very sideways kind of correction. More of a time-wise correction broadly. So I would suggest that you can hold on to the stock, but I'm not too sure that whether there would be an immediate upside into the stock price. Yes, you may probably get the stock to continue to a time-wise correction and give you a relative outperformance with respect to the overall market. But from an immediate upside, I don't see a major upside. So I would not suggest to add, but you can just hold on to your existing quantity over here.
Okay, Shahina Raghavendra is looking for an advice on Tata Communications. He's holding the shares from a price of 1,253 rupees, not at a much loss right now, but he's worried with the recent fall in the stock price. So what will be your advice? Average out or book losses or continue to hold on?
He's continuing to hold on. He can do so, but not to average at current levels. If he does want to add, he can look at closer to 1,000 levels, not at current levels. But he can hold. Short term may see some bit of dip, but I think the medium to longer term still looks decent.
Okay, this one is for you, Kunal, and this one is coming in from Vaibhav. He wants on your view on Alkyl Amines. He's already bought 50 shares at a price of 2,950 rupees per share. He's holding for the last 1 year. Wants a near-term target.
Well, I would suggest to just hold on. I'm not sure whether the stock would get into an immediate recovery. It's still reading below the 200 DMA by a margin of I think 7-8% from current levels. So I would suggest to just hold on to the existing quantity. The bottom has not yet been formed for the stock, at least over the near term. So just wait out for maybe another couple of months. If the stock bottoms out, say at 2,500 levels, that could be a point where you may look to average. Targets for then, you can probably keep it at 3,000, 3,250 levels.
Okay, Kunal, Sunil is looking for the technical view on two counters. Firstly is SBI Life and the other one is HDFC Life. We did discuss for HDFC Life, but he's looking for an outlook for the long-term perspective.
So I think I would prefer SBI Life as a better candidate because potentially that stock had done reasonably well over the last 1 year. So if you try and look at the price-wise comparison between the three key insurance players, SBI Life, ICICI Pru as well as HDFC Life, SBI Life was one of the top performers. So on the way down, the stock would probably be an outperforming stock, would fall less as compared to the other peers. So I would believe that if you're looking to buy from the insurance pack, your preference should be given to SBI Life.
All right, the next one that I have is coming in from Santi and wants a combo view from both of our experts, but I'll take this query to you, Shahina, but he has a special note for you also, Kunal, so you'll have to listen to the entire query as well. He wants a view on Dixon Tech. He's already holding from the levels of 2,828 rupees per share. He wants to know about the risk-reward opportunity in this counter. And also a special note for you, Kunal, Vasanti is saying that he's missed you a lot, especially during special market situations. So that's a lot of viewers are actually writing to us because they're very happy to see you, Kunal, after a long break. But Shahina, coming to you, what's your take on Dixon Tech?
Well, I mean, the stock has corrected a lot, but I would still not be invested in the stock. I would exit, given the management commentary has been pretty subdued and they have reduced their guidance going forward. I would not be in the stock as of now. Relook at it after 6 months to a year.
Okay, Shahina, once again coming to you, the question is from Rakesh. He has shared a long list of stocks, but just picking one, like we mentioned. He's holding BHEL, 3,000 shares at a price of 60 rupees. The stock is up more than 4% in today's market. What's your advice on this particular counter? Shahina, this one is for you.
Yeah, so BHEL, I would continue holding at current levels. Shorter term, with the rest of the market, you could see some bit of decline, but the medium to long term looks very good. So I would continue holding. I would keep a target of close to about 90 rupees. Keep a stop loss of, maybe 65.
Now wants a view on Titan and can she accumulate it at the current market price, but for the longer term?
Yeah, just a one correction. It was not a long break. It was just 5 trading sessions. Adding on to the query on Titan, yes, I think it's a good time where you can look to start investing in Titan. So, many of the stocks have started to form into a base formation over here. So, it's a process, it's a gradual process. It may take at least another 3 weeks for an actual bottom to be in place. But I think for someone who's looking to buy these stocks at a strong corrective zone, and I think for a longer term time period, I think you can look to start buying at current levels. Possibly in the next 2 to 3 weeks, once the bottom is in place for these stocks, you can look to add more quantity into these kind of names.
Okay, Kunal, coming to you for the next one. Pawan wants to know the advice on Bector Foods. He's holding this counter for the past 2 years and currently at a loss of 10%. So, at what price he should look to exit this script?
I'm extremely bullish on the stock, and I think it's hitting onto my radars on many of the indicators which I tend to follow on the longer term trajectory. Now, even though the price history, of course, is very limited for the stock price, but then for at least over the last 3 to 4 quarters, the stock has been showing some excellent recovery. So I would suggest that you should look to hold on. I'm not sure of what exactly is your buy price, but if it's down by a margin of 15 to 20%, I think it's a good time where you should look to average.
Okay, this next one is coming from Dikshita, and she wants a fundamental view on Banco India, and she wants to know whether it can be accumulated at current levels. Shaina, do you track this one by any chance? What's your view?
No, not really. Banco products maybe, but not Banco India.
All right. Kunal, by any chance, do you?
Yeah, I don't track the stock, but then I think looking at the charts, particularly over the very recent kind of a time frame, again, it's a stock which has gone through a very time-wise correction. The only good part about the chart over the last 1 year is that it's not broken below the 200 moving average, trading at 95, 96 plus levels. The 200 DMA so far is at 184, and the stock has been staying above this long-term averages, which means it's going through a time-wise correction more than a price-wise correction. So that's the only benefit for a stock like Banco. But then I think similar to a query which I highlighted some time back, I don't see any immediate upside coming back into the stock price over the near term. So you can just hold on to your existing quantity which you are holding from higher levels as such.
All right. So if it is Banco products itself, Shahina, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, I would second what Kunal is saying. It looks like a decent stock to hold as of now, so it's a hold.
Okay, moving on to the next one. Shahina, the question is from Nageshwar, and he is holding shares of Natco Pharma from a price of 595. Currently at a loss, but he wants to know for the next 1 year, what is the outlook, and will that be advisable to deploy another 1 lakh rupees in this particular counter?
No, I would suggest that he in fact exits from Natco Pharma and looks at some other pharma company, some of the large cap pharma stocks which are doing well, come out with good numbers. I think that should be the space he should be in.
Okay, Geeta has a query, 2 queries. One is on IndusInd Bank, which we already had Kunal answer on. The next one is Bank of Baroda. 187 rupees is the buy price for her. 6 to 9 months view. Kunal, she wants you to answer. So what's your outlook on this one?
So of course, because of the recent news flow, the stock is also under some severe selling pressure. But if I remove that kind of a noise into the stock price, I think the chart looks very attractive for Bank of Baroda and for most of the other PSU banking stocks as well over the medium to long term. So I'm sensing that assuming if there is no major selling which comes by and news flow which is negative for the stock over the next maybe couple of weeks, and if the stock and the selling gets arrested at current levels of 155, 160 levels, I think it's a very good time where you should look to even average Bank of Baroda.
Okay, Kunal, coming to you for next one. Hitesh wants you to pick one counter from the 3 options that he has in mind. Firstly is Tata Investment, Bajaj Holdings, and the other one is HDFC AMC. 1 out of the 3 for the long term.
I would pick none. All 3 stocks have been trading into a very listless kind of trading zone. HDFC AMC particularly, I think the stock has just been falling consistently over the last 1 year. So I think even at current levels, it doesn't seem like the stock has gotten to any kind of an oversold territory. Bajaj Holding, Tata Investment, even these stocks have gone to a corrective phase, and the holding companies, they tend to do pretty well when the markets are at an extremely strong bull phase. In this kind of an environment, it is, these stocks, they tend to underperform. So that would be one of the reasons why I would avoid the first 2 names. And for HDFC AMC as well, I believe that the stock is not hit into any kind of an oversold territory, so I would avoid the stock at current levels.
Okay, next one is coming from Panduranga Rao, and Kunal, he wants to know whether he should add some more shares of Reliance and SBI at current levels, either one of them.
So Reliance, I would believe that maybe at 2,250 levels could be a better level to enter the stock, which should be another 4 to 5% on the downside. So assuming if post-budget there is any kind of a corrective or volatile phase, then I think you should try and take opportunity of buying the stock at those levels. SPI, yes, I think it's a good level where you can look to start nibbling into the stock price. I think closer to 200-day moving average would be a fantastic level where you can look to average further. So maybe another 20 rupees on the downside, and I think the stock could offer some good risk-reward opportunities at those levels.
Okay, so that's the advice coming in on SBI. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to admit more of your stock-related queries.
Wow. His credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
Now, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
Now, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, and let's continue with taking all of your stock-related queries then. And we have the next one that is coming in from Ajay Kumar, and he wants to know, is AB Capital, Anant Raj, or even Manappuram Finance a good buy in current market situation for the near term? Shahina, out of these three companies, which do you think stands out the most, and is it advisable to buy them right now?
See, AB Capital, he can buy it, but please buy it at slight dips. Maybe closer to about 120, 130 would be a better level to buy it, not current levels. Manappuram, I would say that he can actually look at investing in Manappuram at current levels. So I think both the stocks are good, but please look to hold it for the long term, because short-term markets are very volatile.
Moving on, and Kunal, coming to you, the question is from Sumantra, and he's been holding the shares of IRCTC since 2021. He entered at a price of 900. After that, the stock also saw a stock split. What is the short-term outlook on this particular counter?
I think the short-term outlook would still be a bit, I would say, volatile as well as tricky for IRCTC. I don't see any major upside coming back into the stock price. Also, I think on the technicals, especially on the daily charts, there has been a bearish crossover where the 50 DMS crossed below the 200 moving average. So that could probably play into a negative side for the stock of IRCTC over the very near term. But I would believe that once the stock scales past about the 700 mark is where you should look to average further for IRCTC. That could be a time where maybe the stock may get into a strong reversal mode. So as of now, you can just hold on to your existing quantity.
Okay, this was from Anuradha, a bit of a longish query, but Shahina, she has weekly SIPs in banks like IDFC First, ICICI, HDFC, Axis and Bank of Maharashtra. Should she continue or increase the SIPs, considering that we are likely to see some correction, or we are seeing some correction underway, and also the budget? So do you think it makes sense to continue with the SIPs mainly in the private sector banks?
I would say that she should continue with the SIPs. See, none of these private sector banks are cheap, but they've come out with such good numbers. Like, for example, ICICI Bank. I mean, a bank which is growing at 20%, 18, 19% in advances, our double digit in deposits. I think, you can continue adding, keep your SIPs on. Public sector banks, maybe Bank of Maharashtra, I would look to close my SIP. But to some of the other private sector banks, HDFC Bank, I would continue and keep adding at every lower levels.
Okay, moving on, and it's now time to kickstart the rapid fire session. And Shahina, coming to you for the first one. Chandrasekharan has been holding shares of Dixon Technologies from a price of 4,200, currently at a huge loss. But what is the short-term outlook for the next 1 year?
I would say it's exit.
Okay, James has purchased Wakar Pharma at levels of around 220 rupees per share. 300 shares is what he has. What should he do, Kunal? Hold or look to exit? Period of 1 year.
I think you should look to exit.
Okay, Shahina, Rajshekhar has purchased MapMy India from a price of 1,400. Should he continue to hold on?
MapMy India, yeah, he can continue hold. It's an expensive stock, but hold for the long term.
Okay, Girish has MRPL at the price of 90 rupees per share. Should he continue holding on to it, Kunal?
I would suggest an exit.
Okay, Kunal, Advait is at a loss of 20% in Bajaj Finserv. Is this a good stock to average out at these levels?
Yeah, I think it's a good stock to average at 1,300 levels.
Okay, Vasu wants to know about Laurus Labs for the next 2 years. A good one to invest in. What's your take on this one, Shahina?
I would wait. I would not invest in at current levels. So, no.
Okay, Kunal Venkatramani is looking for a technical outlook on Ambuja Cements, holding these shares from a price of 590. What is the outlook for the next 1 year?
Well, difficult to say after such kind of news flow and the stock price reaction, but I would suggest to not average at current levels just because the stock has fallen down significantly.
Okay, Padma has Deepak Nitrite as well as Alkyl Amines planning to switch to Axis and RSCTC. Do you think that this particular move is advisable, Shahina?
Yeah, I think she can move on to Axis from Deepak Nitrite. That would make a good switch.
Okay, Kunal Venugopal Reddy bought shares of Voltas from a price of 832. What is the outlook on this?
I'm bullish on the stock. I think you should look to even average at current levels of sub 800.
Right, and this one is for Muni Raju. He has Bayer Crop. He is at a loss, Kunal. He wants to know what should he do. He's been holding on for the past few years.
I think you can continue to hold on. Possibly at 4,300 levels is where you can look to average.
Okay, Shahina Srinivas has been holding shares of Indian Hotels from a price of 320 rupees. Hold or sell?
Hold. I think there's a lot happening in the sector even now.
All right, and with that we come to the end of the rapid fire as well as queries. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Shahina, for joining us on the show and also giving us your take on the markets and what should viewers do with their individual stock holdings. But with that, right.
Now let's listen to Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Shri Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy as well as Gudivada Amarnath, who is addressing the curtain raiser event in the build-up to the Andhra Pradesh Global Investor Summit.
India is achieving remarkable progress across economic, infrastructure, social development, and continues to develop as a powerhouse in the world. Production-linked incentives, schemes, the Gati Shakti Master Plan, Make in India, ease of doing business and ease of living are some of among the many proactive initiatives undertaken under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister. Coming to the state of Andhra Pradesh, the state of Andhra Pradesh under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister Shri Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu has a long history of attracting investments from foreign firms. Currently, firms from more than 25 countries have set up their manufacturing units within the state. Countries such as United States, UK, Japan, Germany, Korea, France, and UAE together contribute to over 50% of FDI inflow in the state. Pharmaceuticals, automotive, chemicals, food and beverage, industrial equipment, electronics, transport and warehousing are some of the major sectors where we are witnessing investments. We expect large influx of investments into renewable energy, green hydrogen, semiconductors, electronics, battery storage vehicles, electric vehicles, and biotechnology in the coming years. As I've just mentioned, under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, the state has been consistently ranked #1 amongst all the states in ease of doing business as #1 in the country. The ranks are based not just on the processes and systems in the state, but on the feedback provided by the industries operating in the state, which means it's even more authentic. We are now keen to focus on ensuring that Andhra Pradesh provides not just ease of doing business, but provides an environment to facilitate the low cost of doing business.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
Budget Master Contest is back, and it's raining gold this time around. This budget day, grab your chance to win gold vouchers. Stay tuned with ET Now from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on 1st February. Catch the question flashed on your screen. SMS your answer to 56161. Win big. Budget Master Contest. Only on ET Now.
Another day of choppy session so far. Nifty, however, managing to hold flat. The broader markets fare better today. Gains for about 1% or so. PSU banking name, metals, media seeing some support.
L&T under pressure after margins disappointed in the third quarter, but brokerages remain upbeat on the back of robust order execution. Tech Mahindra sells despite third quarter beat as the management flags off moderating growth amidst a challenging environment.
Sun Pharma is in focus. The company will be declaring its numbers today. Global specialty growth once again in focus. Key focus will be what's the outlook for the same.
It's the last day to subscribe to the biggest FPO in the country. Adani Enterprises sees total subscription of around 6%. This was as of 10 a.m. The management remains confident of FPO sailing through.
It's the countdown to the D-Day as Prime Minister Narendra Modi kicks off the budget session. Top experts back for high capex push. Continuity or policy prediction seems to be the key buzzword. It needs to be seen tomorrow what Finance Minister will announce in the budget. Hello and welcome to Markets at Noon. This is Pankaj Podar. With me is Cheryl D'Souza. Over the next 1 hour, we'll tell you what's happening in the market, run down to the